Hey ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. So let's finish up with our slider. So everything works as intended, but we just need to be able to save this data in the database. So in order for that to happen, we're going to need a migration file so we can create a database table, and then we'll need a UI in the admin section to add that information in. So if we go back to our project here, you see inside models we don't have anything, we don't have migrations either. We have one controller in here, but it isn't doing anything yet. So let's fix all those problems. Let's go to plugin.php. Let's add our plugin name here, slider, and let's add a description here, and the plugin route. This one will be the route we use in the admin section, I guess. So let's do slider. We may want a table. What table do we... The table could be called slider images, like that. What permissions do we want to be giving? Well, usually it's the CRUD, so we can say add slider image, something like this. So you can put view if you want, something like this, view slider images, add slider image, edit slider image, and delete slider image. So those are the possible permissions there. And what else? So this should also run on the admin page. So if we go to our config here, it should run on the admin page as well. Okay. Cool. What else? So one controller there, that's fine. This controller only runs in the admin page. So what I'm going to do is say plugin route, let's say admin route, which is admin page, like that. Okay. Alrighty then. So at this point we will what to do. These for now we can mute. We don't need these running at all. In fact, we could just mute the whole function here. We may need it later, so I'm just going to mute that here for a second. So there is the view. Now the views are two. There's the admin area view, which is different. I think that one displays the slider here. So this displays the slider. This displays the admin section. Something like this. Let me not require any of these files for now. Let's leave it at this. And now we need to add a link to our admin page. Okay. So we're going to do that by copying from other projects we've done before. So let's look at what any of these that have like the users manager, for example. If I go to the plugin of this, I can always just copy from here. So admin before links, that is viable. So let's copy that. What else do we need to copy? And then main content. So back here, I'm going to add this here, like so. And then I need this hook for main content. And I'm just going to copy that part. And let's add it here. Something like this. In fact, instead of copying all of this, I just want the hook really. So let me copy that hook. I'm going to undo what I just pasted here. And let's put this here instead, where we displays the admin section. Let's paste that hook there. Alright guys, so pretty good. Now here, if we have permission to view slider images, if we have that permission, then admin route works fine plus plugin route. Here we're going to say slider images like that. That should do very well. So we say slider images here, and we put the font awesome that we need. Here I'm just going to put image like that. I'm not sure if that actually works, but let's give it a shot. So if I refresh and okay, probably need to log in. Let's log in here like this. Yep, now we can go to the admin section. Oh, look at that. That is very interesting to note. So as you can see, the Z index for this thing is way off, because now I can see my drop down at all. You can barely see it when it's coming up there, but it just disappears. Okay, so this is always an easy fix. We just need to mind the Z index for each item. So main menu, if we go to the main menu plugin here and we look at the front end view, that's views and front end menu, it must have a Z index somewhere, which is 99 over here. I think that's quite big, so maybe we should reduce the index for our slider. Seems like that one is the one that's excessive. So we go to assets, CSS, my slider.css. Let's look for anything that says Z index here. Oh, okay, 2. That doesn't seem bad. 1, 6, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. This isn't bad at all. So there must be something wrong somewhere else. So main menu, back to U menu. Let's look at, there's one with 10, right? Okay, so this should be overall boss. So let me just put maybe 98, something like that. Let's try this again. Doesn't seem to work at all. Okay, let's try. I dislike having to do this because then you can't go any further than that. Okay, so it seems oh, that's for the mega box. Okay, let me leave it at 98. Let's find more Z index problems here. Right, what about the drop down itself? Display block. There is no Z index. What is going on here? 99, right? Okay, mega box, Z index 98. This not good. This not good. Okay, so this is not a problem with our mobile response view here. So okay, what I want to do is inspect this guy. Let's look at the, oh, it's called drop menu, right? Is there a Z index? Position absolute, yes. But is there a Z index? None whatsoever. Okay, so let's find drop menu wherever it says position that is not static. So we have drop down here with absolute positioning, so we might as well add a Z index here of 98. Let's try that. Okay, so finally there it is. Cool. So we go to the admin section, and this thing shows up here in the admin section as well, which it shouldn't. And then we have slider images here, and I don't like it at the top here. I want it at the very bottom here. So let's fix those one by one. Let me close the main menu plugin here. We just needed to switch that Z index real quick. Okay, so first of all, the order of this, we should know that we can actually swap the order of these things. We can swap the index of here, of when this plugin actually loads, by just putting it a higher number here, of course, because this is low priority. So if I put number 10 like this, it will load a bit later. So that actually does solve the problem, and you see that other plugins are loading first and then it loads down here at the end. So up to you how you want to do that. Now if you don't like this, maybe you do still want this at the top, so I've put it back. For some reason, maybe this is at the top, you want it to load first, but you just want this item to load last. What you can do, of course, is when adding the filter here, you can specify the priority here. So the base is 10, but you can put it at 20, for example, to make it go to the end. So if I do that, you see that goes to the end. This is still at the top. But of course, we don't want this here. We only want this to show on the home page. Now, the reason it's showing here is because in our config, where is our config? There it is. So in our config, we say home and admin, it should show on both of those, right? So it does load on both, but we want the view to only appear at a very specific time. So what I would do here is say if, okay, the view, wait a second. Oh, the basic main content. Okay, so on the view here, I don't want this to ever show. This should only show on the home page, period. So here we're going to say if URL 0, like that, is equal to, then we're going to use the vars. Wait. Now, if this is the page, the home page, so we're just going to say if page. You could use the URL 0. It does exactly the same thing. This is the home page, so we can do this instead and do that. So only on the home page do we get this. Now you could make this dynamic as well, but home page is home page, right? So we'll leave it at that. So I'm going to do this here, like so. So now it shouldn't show here because this is not the home page. If we go to the home page, it does show. So let's come back. Now on the slider, when I click here on slider, it should show something here. So let's get to it. This will happen on this part. So this should only run on the plugin route. Now, in order for us to know what plugin route is, we need vars to be active here. So I'm going to do this. Let's do that. In fact, I do not need the curly braces here since there's only just one line over here. So if the page is going to be admin, so this will only run on admin part. So what I'm going to do is, instead of this, I'm going to use vars, say admin route, like that. So if it's admin route, great. But we need 2 of these. And not just page, but URL 1, because let's look at the URL here. 0 is the admin, 1 is slider. So we want that to match as well. If that is equal to, let's look inside vars to figure out the plugin route. So if both those things are true, then it's gonna load in there. Now instead of view file here, we're going to say admin view.php. Now you can name these files anything you want really. This one we can rename it to slider. That way it's easy to know what's what. So I'm going to rename this to slider. We can say -view if you want. That way we know this is a view file, but we should do that there as well. And of course, we will say new file. This is stuff. Let's save this as admin-view.php. Okay. So with that in mind, we should see this is stuff here only when we click on that particular item. Okay, great. So like that, now we have everything set up for the UI to be created. Now that we have, this is admin stuff. Now that we have all this, let's create some migration and models here, migration files and models. So I'm going to open the particular folder, the project folder here, find a command line, and what am I doing? CD, there we go, clear the screen. Okay, so we're in that folder now, the project folder. And if you watch over here, we don't have any models or migration files at all. So let's make those. So I'm going to say PHP Thunder make, let's make a model in the slider folder. So a model is going to be called, remember this one, slider_image. It deals with slider images, and the table is going to be called slider images. So let's use singular there, like so. File has been created. Let's create a migration file as well. So we're going to say PHP Thunder and say make migration. The migration file is going in the slider folder. And what do we call it? What would be the table? Slider images, is it? Yes. There we use a plural because that's the table name. Now you don't have to follow those rules, but they just make things easier. So in the model here we have slider image model like this. Now it's up to you here how you want to name these things. You could, instead of using an underscore, you could use camel case, so it becomes something like slider image like that. I'm against this because Linux is case sensitive, and so if you don't make your file camel case as well, you may have a problem. So it depends really what you want and what you're used to, but this is fine for me. So slider images is our table. Primary key is ID, of course. So let's go to the migration file first and design our table. So we have an ID for the index. In here, this table will only have like 4 records because there'll be just like 1 record for each image, something like that. And so what we want to do is make some columns here. So from ID, we want a column that will what will this column do? This column will be the image link. So let's just do image like that. We'll save this as 1024. So oopsie daisy. Okay, so here we have 1024. This is going to save the link to the image. And then let's look over here again. Let's get back to reality. So there are like 3 or 4 things here that we need to deal with. First of all, there is my slider caption, and this is the caption. If you want a specific caption per image, we should put provision for that. And then these are links. So if I click on this, it actually opens a new tab to lead somewhere. So that's param number 2. So we have the caption, we have the link, and we have the image itself over here. I think these are the only three things we actually need here. Of course, you can put other things if you want. So that's image, and then caption. Caption shouldn't be very long either, so let's just put 255 should be enough. So there we go, 255 caption. We don't need to know whether these were deleted, when they were deleted, who deleted them. This is irrelevant information. Let's add a link here. Links could be long, so let's do 1024 here. I'm going to call this one link. Okay, so we have the image path, the caption, and the link. That's pretty much it. And the only thing that we need as a key is the ID, like so. Alrighty then. Cool. Now we don't need these guys over here at all. We just need to create the table. Pretty cool. Now we can seed this thing if we want to. We can make empty records to start with, record 1 up to 4. That's one option, but maybe let's make it so that yeah, no, let's leave it as it is for now, so that it's more robust. That way it can learn to create its own rows if they do not exist. Okay, so this is pretty much it for our migration file. Oh wait, so there's image, caption, and the link. Those are the things I need here. So I'm going to say image, caption, link, like that. So these are the columns that are editable in this table. So let me paste that. That was the wrong thing to do. Undo and paste. Okay, great. What do we really need here? We don't need any of these. None of these things are compulsory. So I'm just gonna remove any validation. In fact, we really just don't need these functions, but we can leave them just in case. Pretty cool. Okay, cool. Now we just need to run the migration files. So let me just make sure that we don't have those. So if I go to plugin PHPDB, as you can see, we don't have slider images here at all as a table. But we're about to change that by saying PHP Thunder and then say migrate. But what folder are we migrating? Slider. And once we do that, it creates the right tables. So if I click on there, now we have the slider images table with those 4 columns over here. Now maybe I should have added a disable column, so you can disable one of them if you want to without deleting it. Maybe that's an advantage. Let me just add it there, you know. Let me go to migration. Let's duplicate this. I'm going to put disabled. And this one should have a default value of 0. It should be a tiny int so that it's one in length. So it's either 0 or 1, and maybe this one can have a key. But we really don't need that key because there's only going to be like 4 records in this table. It would take very little time to actually read anything from here, so these keys are not important. They will just take up too much space. So there we go. Now that we've changed things, we don't have the disabled thingy here, so all we need to do is refresh this migration. So I'm going to say PHP Thunder migrate and say refresh in the slider folder, and there we go. So what it does is it deletes the table and adds it again. So this time it should have an extra column. Very cool. Okay, so with all that, the only remaining thing now is to make the thing usable, the UI usable over there. So let's do the basic stuff first of all. I'm gonna go to the Bootstrap website. Since we are using Bootstrap here, we might as well take advantage of that. So what I'm gonna do, let's go to docs here, and I want those tabs and navs. There we go, navs and tabs. Okay, down here. I kind of like these ones, so copy those. Let's get back to business, admin view, and paste. Very cool. Let's remove the disabled one. Okay, before we even do that, let's just make sure things are running smoothly. So admin slider images, and there we go. Look at that. Very cool. Let's remove this one. We don't need these accessibility options. Maybe we do, who knows. Slider 1. You can put spaces around these if you want. Then let's just say slider 2 and slider 3, and we duplicate and say slider 4. Yay, nice. Let's refresh. Boom. Okay, so now we have these guys over here, but these are not clickable here. And the way I want this to be is I want each one of these to be like a separate page, meaning if I'm on slider 2 and I press submit, it's only submitting info on slider 2 and ignoring the others here. So I want these guys to be clickable actually. Right now they just produce a hash there, which is not bad, but I want the more intense. Okay, so let's see. Here we could add that tab thingy. So I don't want to put any logic in the view file. So let's do this in the plugin file itself. So I'm going to go down here. This is the main content, right? So we didn't put an actual, let's do this, yes. So we can put more lines over here. So what I want is a variable named tab, which I can say tab is equal to, I can grab this from the get variable called tab, and this may not exist, which it doesn't right now. Then I'm going to set the tab to a base value, which I'll call slider 1, like so. Simple and straightforward like this. Now if I go in the admin view, all I have to do is put some question marks here. Say for example, what I want to do here. Also, let's do this. Let me just get the plugin route here is equal to vars plugin route. That way I don't have to put it doesn't have to be inside an array. And let's do the same for the admin route. That way they are easy to use over here. So let me do this. This should lead to, first of all, root as a link, slash, then now we go the plugin route, no, the admin route, close that baby, slash, and then the plugin route. Plugin route, like this. Oops, there we go. Oops, forgot the $sign over here. Now this is where things get interesting. So with this part at the end, I can put a question mark and put a tab is equal to, and then put the particular slider name in there, like so. So those are the links that it takes us to. This is slider 1. This is slider 2, slider 3, and slider 4. So that's the only difference. Now, the only reason this one is active is because there's an active thingy here, So I want a way to actually echo out this. So if tab is equal to slider 1, like that, let's put it question mark, we can therefore echo out active like this, full colon and emptiness. Otherwise we echo emptiness like that. That way we add a class when this is slider 1. So let me copy this stuff to these others here and paste. Only that for these ones there's the appropriate number here, like so. And just by doing that, now we can move between sliders like this. As you can see, it can tell you which one be active at that point. And then we'll need down here containers that will only show at very specific times. So here what I'll do is we're gonna say, let's put a form over here. This form will have a method of post, and it will have enc type of multipart / form data to make sure that we can actually upload images on this thing. Now it really depends how you're going to do this. If you want, usually when you're dealing with images, it's a good idea to use Ajax to upload so that you can see some upload progress, because sometimes you have huge images that may take a while to upload, but entirely up to you. So within this thing, I want to have specific things I can show in here. So we're going to do PHP like that, and then say if tab be equal to slider 1, and then I will show whatever is here. Boom, boom, PHP, and let's not end if, is it? Like that. Okay, so slider 1 will show some content here, slider 2, so we'll just say slider 1 over here like so. And then what I want to do is put an else if statement like so. There are 4 of these guys, so I'm gonna do 4, I'm gonna do 3, and I'm gonna do 2, like that. Now don't forget to put else on these guys, otherwise you get an error. Alright, so if it's slider 1, we show slider 1, appropriate text. So slider 1, slider 2, slider 3, slider 4, and so on and so forth. Very cool. So now we can begin to put our content over here and then submit that content, right? So far so good. Things are working well. Very nice. Alright guys, I will see you in the next video.